Hello everyone, and thank you for coming to Sandra's Stenography and Shorthand Dictation. This evening I'm going to finish, I won't finish the article this evening, but I will do part 2 tonight. And what I'm reading is from the Newsweek magazine. It's called Sentenced to Death. I thought it was quite interesting. And so if you'd like to go and check out part 1, that is available also on my channel. And this evening we will be continuing with part 2. I will pick up where I left off, and like part 1, I will not be reading at any particular speed. So tonight we are just trying to work on accuracy rather than speed. And if you watched the first video, you heard me say that speed comes with accuracy. So I won't reiterate that this evening. So I'd like to go ahead and get started with this video. And if you're ready to write, I sure am ready to read. So we will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Serbat, where Neil was housed, was an open, dorm-style facility perfect for DUI offenders. There were 10 dorms, 200 men assigned to each. Inmates were allocated a steel frame bed, a small side table, 2 shelves, and a knee-high locker. The floors were unadorned cement. The shelves and cinder blocks were painted blue and gray. Seen from above, the rows of cubicles would look like a video game maze. Inmates divide themselves along racial and ethnic lines. The whites, the blacks, the Mexican Americans, the Mexican nationals, and a tiny group of Native Americans. The white population of the state's prisons is controlled by a handful of Aryan Brotherhood members locked down in isolation units in a supermax in Florence, Arizona. Kingman belonged to David Bounds, a 44-year-old Aryan Brotherhood member serving a life sentence for first-degree murder. A, quote, head, close quote, is deputized to run the day-to-day inside each facility. These guys, the alpha males, the big dogs, serve as spokesmen when dealing with the prison administration. They direct all commerce among their group, arbitrate disputes, and mete out justice. Or more likely, delegate that task to their boys, who, in turn, delegate it to a greener, hungrier inmate. As Chris, a 25-year-old white guy who ran one dorm and asked not to use his real name, puts it, I go get a couple youngsters that want to put in some work and have them beat the living dog shit out of a dude. Shortly after arriving at Kingman, Chris was put in charge of a dorm in Hall-A-Pie, another section of the prison, where he was responsible for keeping order and collecting, quote, rent, close quote, a percentage of drug sales, gambling proceeds, and the unofficial commissaries. To the heads and their subordinates, inmates like Neil were nothing but cash cows. There was another white dude there that wanted to get clean and stop doing dope so bad, Chris remembers. He was strung out. His family was just in fucking shambles because they were sending probably $1,500 a week. And I mean, I'm not going to let him get clean. Hundreds of inmates would be in debt at any given time. Always a risky proposition in a place like Kingman. If an inmate's debt got high enough, he was put, quote, on block, close quote. No more dope, commissary, or gambling until he paid it off. On a Facebook site for the relatives of Kingman inmates, parents fret about what to do when a son calls up asking for far more money than needed to buy stamps or razors or soap. If they send the money, are they enabling his drug use? If they don't, will he get hurt? In reality, Neil was locked up in 2 prisons, one run by MTC and one more efficiently and brutally run by the Aryan Brotherhood. The whole system of illegal enterprise, including unwritten codes of conduct, such as white boys had to shower every day, for instance, and spend at least 2 hours working out, and savage justice, ran almost unimpeded by the correction staff. In this way, Kingman stood out from any other institution Chris had been housed in. Most of the guards at Kingman don't care. They really don't give a fuck, Chris says. They used to walk by watching people shoot dope. They sit there and be like, "Hey man, it's count time. Put the dope away." Inmates actually found a way to dictate which officers worked their units, using a tactic dubbed, quote, "group on," close quote. When they didn't like a guard, they would surround him or her until the officer called a supervisor. MTC would then usually move that guard to another unit for his or her own protection. So it's not surprising that many guards were apathetic. Their only goal was to make it home each day in one piece. Others became bullies. These, quote, badge-heavy, close quote, guards were free with profanity, threats, and pepper spray. As Chris says, officers in there were either like gung-ho, "I'm gonna bust you," or it's, "I'm here to collect a paycheck. Don't beat me. Don't make me do any paperwork." Inmates in trouble for breaking convict rules or mounting debt have only 2 options, both of them bad. Commit a serious enough infraction to get your security status upgraded and be shipped to a higher security facility, or request protective custody and be branded a snitch. When an inmate requests protection, prison administration will immediately demand information on other inmates. Who's dealing drugs? Who's threatened to hurt you? But even an inmate who talks is rarely granted protective custody or, quote, PC, close quote. Instead, he's moved to another prison. Any lateral transfer between facilities, minimum security to minimum security, for instance, is regarded with suspicion by other inmates. When Neil entered Kingsman, he would have been put on a probation period. No buying drugs or even potato chips until the whiteheads checked him out. Their guys in inmate property would find out where he last did time, and a call would be placed on an illegal cell phone to check if he'd ran away from a debt. If he had and still couldn't pay what he owed, we'd kill him, Chris said. We don't want the money anymore. All right, folks. Good 10 solid minutes of reading. So I hope that was able to help you in your writing. Please practice this several times if you need to, just so you can make sure that you're getting down every word. And even if you're dropping words, at least make sure that the words that you are writing are accurate. And so as I began this video, I'm going to say, let's write. But now I'm going to say good night. I will do part 3 as soon as I possibly can. I do have a job, so I have to start doing these videos when I have some spare time, which is usually after work. So that's why I'm putting up these videos after I got off from work this evening. So please bear with me as far as the time is concerned. I'm going to do the best I can to put out a couple of videos for you every week. And if you stay tuned, I promise not to let you down. So it's been a great night reading to you guys. And without any further ado, I'm going to say good night. Straight from Florida. Happy writing, everyone.